So as
Important
I just
steps.
said, yeah, Dr. Danielle Lord is a board member with our Chamber Collective, and I'm so thankful to be able to have her expertise and insights into these kinds of matters, and just excited to dive into this today. Thank you all for being here.
Okay, well, should I kick it off then?
Please.
Thanks for bringing this up as a good topic for our Zooming into Success series. So as Charity said, my name is Dr. Danielle Lord. This is not my area of expertise by any stretch of the imagination, but I did just go through the process, as painful and as frustrating as it's been so far. So for those of you who might be just joining in or listening to the broadcast later, what we're going to be talking about today is getting what they generally refer to as a WIMBY certification. So WIMBY stands for Women and Minority Business Enterprise. And you can find the really awful application process at the Office of Minority and Women's Business Enterprise. And it is a Washington state agency. And it's you have to have at least 51% ownership in your business in order to qualify as a women and minority business and get that certification. So there are some benefits to getting that stamp of approval, and I'll talk about that in just a second. But I think the first thing that I want to say when you go down this process, the first hard, difficult pill to swallow is that you have to sign an affidavit that says, I am a woman, I am a female, and so therefore I am by default socially and economically disadvantaged. So if that's a tough pill for you to swallow, like it was for me, and I don't consider myself a feminist, but my husband got home and I'm ranting and raving and having a kind of a hissy fit. And I'm like, I can't believe that you actually have to sign this as an affidavit and send it into the state. So just know that going forward. Now, the second little piece of the bigger, more difficult pill to swallow is that you have to do a personal net worth statement. And so basically, I think at the luncheon, I said I've had less invasive medical exams. I did go through this personal net worth statement. So you have to do a list of your assets and all your liabilities. And then you get into the complicated process of, okay, this is a community property state. So how does that play into all of this? And so it's kind of a big guessing game of bearing like literally all this information that I don't necessarily want the government to have, but they have it now. Going through this process. Yeah, Miranda.
They're asking you on your personal stuff and not just your business?
Correct.
Okay.
It's personal. Yeah, it's your personal net worth.
Okay.
Yeah. And so then you have to sign another affidavit that says everything that you've presented there is true and correct. There's quite a few documents that have to be uploaded. All in all, if depending on the business that you have, you can upload about 20 different documents. And I'm sorry, I had a list and then I threw the list away. Oh, why did I throw the list away? Because I can't get back into the application with the state now that it's in the pending process. But the affidavit, the personal statement of net worth, there were 11 required documents and then about another 11 kind of mandatory documents. And so within that body of required documents, there were things like articles of incorporation. You have to have the Secretary of State certification of your business. So some solopreneurs don't have that certification. It's about $180 to get the certification through the Secretary of State. You have to have that in order to be considered. Articles of incorporation, operating agreements, 3 years of personal and business taxes, your resume of anyone that is considered an owner or a principal like myself in my company, just a whole variety of documents that have to be uploaded, and those have to be for every single person. So if you have multiple individuals within your organization, every single one of those persons has to have a documentation uploaded. Yes, Satina, hi, good to see you.
Good to see you too. that certification, is that just part of like our business license, or is that something typical businesses have, or it's an extra thing you gotta get?
The certification from the Secretary of State. Yeah, you might have it. I was about to log in and go through the process of going, oh, I guess I need to do this. And I went back and looked through all of my business documents and I already had it. So
Yeah.
generally, if you have an LLC or if you've gone through the process of getting your business licensed in the state and you paid to get that certification, you might already have it.
So we don't, you're not sure of the name of it? It's just
Just called the
certification.
certification of,
Okay.
yeah, Washington State Business Certification
Okay,
from the Secretary of State.
thank you.
Yeah. So, so yes, lots of documents to upload, meeting minutes, a variety of things. So that's the lengthy part of the process is just kind of compiling all of those documents, getting them together so that you scan them or upload them from your computer. So you gotta upload all those documents, and then you have to do a very tedious, time-consuming electronic application. And so within that application process, it will ask you things like of making major purchasing decisions. Who's involved in these major purchasing decisions? So I'd have to put in my name, Danielle Lord, principal, and I make most of the purchasing decisions. And it's kind of like all the time, frequently, sometime, or rarely are kind of your nebulous options that you get. But every person, again, who's part of your business has to be listed in that with how often they make purchasing decisions, how often they make hiring and firing decisions, how often they may sign contracts. It was quite a lengthy list of about 12 or 13 things of ways that other people might be involved in the business and having some kind of say in the day-to-day operations.
I'm so sorry. So every team member needs to do this?
If they have some kind of involvement in the business, yes.
Okay.
Or any kind of major ownership parts of it. Yeah.
Yeah. I understand the any ownership part, but like every team member seems kind of very tedious.
Yeah. And I think if you have team members, I've heard mixed messages on this one. I've heard it's every owner, and then I've heard, no, it's anyone who has can be considered kind of a corporate officer, even if they don't have any ownership. So I think if I were going through the process, I'd give more information than less, because even once you go through this really sickeningly long vulnerable process, they don't have to give you the certification. So they can still come back and say, nice job on getting your application complete, but we're going to pass.
Okay.
Which is really frustrating. It's like, I went to all this trouble to get you all the documentation that you needed, and now you're not going to give me the certification. So that's a little bit of the kind of the nuts and bolts behind it, and what was really challenging about it. It probably took me a good couple of days to compile all this information and go through this process. So
Did you get your results yet?
I have
How
not
long
heard the
ago?
results yet. It can take about 6 to 8 weeks.
Okay, how long ago did you submit?
I want to say it was late September.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's all online through
And
their
it's
website.
All online. Yeah.
Have you heard of stories of why people don't get
I have not
accepted?
no, I haven't even gone down that path, Satina, just hoping that it all comes to fruition, because I've actually signed a contract with Sound Transit. I have to have this certification. So yeah.
Oh, you have to.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And that surprised me. I thought that, so I'm a subcontractor to the Sound Transit contract, and I thought the contractor had to have the certification. And then I found out, oh, shit, we all have to have this certification. So that's kind of what prompted me to have to go in and
Interesting.
again, go through the painful process of
Yeah, you could lose your contract over it, right? Oh man. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, keep your fingers crossed, please, everyone.
Yeah, we will.
So why go through this process? If you want to have any state contract, so in my business, I do a lot of leadership development, leadership consultation, helping with organizations put their structure together so they function better, etc. So I'm eligible for a lot of government contracts, and if you want to have a government contract, you don't have to have the certification, but it's very helpful because some of the government contracts will actually award points if you have the certification. If you've ever looked at their RFP process, their request for proposal, they all give you their scoring breakdown of how they assign points, and some of it is up to 100 points. So I was like, okay, I can produce the best proposal possible and put forth this great idea to one of the state agencies. And that includes universities, colleges, quasi-public sector agencies. So the pool is pretty large in which you can draw from these RFPs. So I can put together the best proposal possible and then actually lose the contract to a agency or a business that has put forth a semi good proposal simply because they have that WIMBY certification. So there are definite benefits, at least for me, to get the certification, or at least I try to.
So then you're essentially on a short list with the government and these agencies that says this person has met all of these qualifications, has been certified in this way, that it opens those doors for you. You can use it in your marketing, I'm assuming. Are there other ways that you are planning to leverage this certification?
I hadn't thought, yeah, I guess you can put it on your website, right? That you're a WIMBY certified business. And so I did kind of poke around and ask the question, what are the other benefits to doing this? And so one of the responses that came back was increased visibility and credibility. So it says that certification boosts your business's visibility with state agencies. And it adds credibility by showing your business is properly vetted and certified. So that can make it a little bit more attractive to other clients, particularly, I think, probably other women-owned businesses who are wanting to kind of spread that wealth, I guess.
And that's whether or not they're, even a state contractor. That makes sense. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. Or apparently being subcontractors to other contractors.
Yeah.
Which I found out the hard way.
Yeah.
So there's enhanced networking and business opportunities. So you get access to other networking events and business conferences. I know by being as a micro business and on what is called the WEBS site, Washington Enterprise Business Solutions, I believe is the website. So that's when I get notification of contracts and RFPs that are coming out. They do have some really good small business solutions. And so you do get notification of that. And then other development resources, workshops, webinars, etc. And I know that there is a really great group out there. I can't think of the name off the top of my head, but they have mentors in a lot of different areas. So, anything finance, money related to me is a real challenge. So having access to somebody who might be able to mentor me through that process can be definitely a benefit to me. Again, there's funding and financial benefits. And then competitive advantage and market differentiation, again, is one thing that they mentioned. So it increases and strengthens your business market position, basically, is what it does. So, yeah.
Speaking of financials, I know not necessarily in that area, but Carla had a good question about whether your net worth would disqualify you from being certified, whether it be too low or too high. Is there anything they're looking for or barometers there?
They don't really give any information on it. It's a good question. I don't know. Actually, when I put in did my personal net worth statement, I had to eat a little crow because it's like, oh, I guess I kind of am economically disadvantaged based on my own personal net worth right now.
Sure.
But so hopefully that will work well
I
for
wonder,
me.
do you think it's for statistical purposes? Is it for statistical purposes only? You think these kinds of,
No
you've
idea.
done enough HR that you know how they're analyzing all of this in the back end. I'm wondering if that's a part of all of that, or if it really is a decision factor
That's
in the process.
It's a really good
Huh.
question, and I actually don't have an answer for that. But Charity, you bring up a good point, because one of the other things that you have to upload, there's about three financial documents. So you have to have an initial valuation. You have to have
Okay.
a list of any of your assets. I had to go through, because most of what I have is my own intellectual property. So then I had to figure out, how do I value my own IP? So I had to come up with a quite a lengthy spreadsheet of every asset that I have that's an IP asset, and then assign some type of evaluation to that. So there was definitely a lot of work that went into it as well. So yeah,
I mean, that
Corey,
alone is a valuable exercise.
it was definitely valuable. Yeah, if not painful and frustrating, but
Cece is sitting next to me and she says she has the answer to that question. It sounds like they're looking at the net worth to see if you are
Disadvantaged also.
disadvantaged. Yeah. Oh, good. Well, I guess at least I qualify for being, yeah.
So I don't know if there's a cap.
So it helps you get qualified, because it's also considered low income in a roundabout way, to help those people that grew up or are not as wealthy be able to get contracts also easier. One of my clients went through all this, and that she's a small woman owned, but also the fact that she grew up with not a lot of money and doesn't have a lot of money helped her get qualified faster and easier also.
Okay. Thank you, Cece. That was awesome. Yeah. Oh, maybe there's hope for me then. So, yeah. So, yeah, that's kind of the process in a nutshell. It's tedious, and just know that if you don't have these documents ahead of time, you have to have them. There's, like the operating agreements. I didn't have operating agreements. It's me, and occasionally my husband chimes in on something. So putting all of those together, but I confess, and I used AI quite a bit to say, here, help me come up with a evaluation process for how I'm going to value my IP, or whatever the case is. So, but it was definitely time consuming and tedious. And like I said, feeling definitely very vulnerable in terms of some of the things that you had to give them, like that personal net worth statement.
So is it like you create like an account, and it's kind of an open application that you can come back to and take as much time as you want, or is it a time sensitive thing?
That's a really good question, Satina. So once you open the account, I believe you have there is a time frame in which they'll say, well, you haven't done anything, and so they'll kind of close out your account. So I don't recall what that time frame is, but they're pretty generous with the time.
Okay.
I also think that they probably tend to give more latitude to a business that's been in existence for a couple of years, rather than maybe one that just opened up, because they did want 3 years of business taxes. They did want 3 years of meeting minutes. And so I think they probably want you to be in business and have proven yourself a little bit before you apply. That's a total guess. I do not know on that one. Once you start the application, again, it's open, so you can take over like a week or two. You can go in and upload. Okay, I've got this document now ready. I'll upload that, and then it kind of gives you a progress check. And then once you submit your application, you can't get back into the application process, because I wanted to bring up the screen and show everyone. And when I went to log in, it was like, oh, there's nothing there. So you're kind of shut out from the system once you've submitted everything.
And did you find like a list before going into starting it? Do they have on the website like, hey, these are the things you're gonna need to prepare?
I didn't find that, but I'm not that kind of a learner. I'm kind of let me just rip my clothes off and jump right in, which is not always the most advantageous approach, because you run into roadblocks that way a lot of the times. But I know that they have videos. So if you can watch the video that kind of walks you through the process, and which I didn't do that either. I might have known, oh, I have to actually say I am economically and financially disadvantaged because I'm female. But so initially they rejected my application because I submitted, I'm like, well, no, I'm not economically and socially disadvantaged. And yes, I am female. And they sent the application back. And then when I went and looked a little bit, dug into it, I was like, oh, I actually have to say that because I am female, I am economically and socially disadvantaged. So there were things where they came back and they were like, yeah, this isn't complete. Please complete this form. You have 30 days in which to do it. So.
And have you heard of reapplying? Like if you get declined, does that probably wouldn't make sense to reapply unless something significant has changed in your business? Is there's a reason why you didn't get accepted?
Yeah, I have not dove into that path yet because I'm hoping that
you had a person contact you, like it was you were working with somebody, or
no, there's really nobody to work with. You just submit, and then if they have questions, it comes back kind of through an automated response type of situation.
And this is not through Washington specifically. It is
Washington State.
It is Washington State. Okay.
It is the Office of Minority and Women's Business Enterprise.
That's the website name. Okay.
Yep. Thank you, Charity. Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of all I have on the situation. But I think I wish I would have talked to somebody before I dove into it, just to kind of know what some of those pitfalls were. Thank you. Charity found the actual website. Thank you so much. I'm actually working on another response to an RFP right now. So I was head down in that all morning. So I was like, oh, well, it's like 11:45. I better log on, and I'm completely unprepared. But
yeah, I thought
and then my computer died.
The enterprise business solution, Washington Enterprise Business Solutions, you mentioned the spot with that connects you to open RFPs. That seems like a big advantage for people who are doing in your field, especially.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could see that being really beneficial for lots of folks.
Yes, the trick with that is, and you have to do the same with the WIMBY application, is you have to find I think it's called a commodity code. And there's like thousands of these commodity codes. And so when you do the WIMBY application, you have to identify the 1 to 7 different commodity codes in which your business actually does business activities. And you have to do the same with the web application. Yeah.
Do they then like filter the types of contracts that you see, or is that
for the web system?
basically?
They do. Yeah. That's how you get contract notifications, is based on those commodity codes that you put in.
Well, that seems really important to make sure that you're choosing ones that are going to be really representative. Are they super bifurcated? Like, is it super delineated? Or?
Yes, it's very, very much so. If you put in one thing, you're going to get probably 200 different specific areas. And it's like, do I pick this one or do I pick that one? And, I put in my field, which is organizational development, and I didn't get any specific codes around it. But when I put in development, guess what popped up? Organizational development.
Right.
It's like, of course. See. So you have to spend a little bit of time, kind of digging into those codes. So
that seems really important.
Yeah, it is. Like right now, I don't have one in there for leadership development. So I have to go, and when I search on leadership development in the codes, nothing comes up. But I know there is one because a couple of my other business partners are getting them. And that's how I get notification of the leadership stuff. I just haven't had the time to dig in and figure out which codes I need to put in. So
can I ask?
Fascinating.
Of course.
So do you think that if you didn't need this for your contracts and your stuff, that you would have went through the process of doing it?
No, I definitely would not have.
I know my husband has, he's a minority and he has an excavation company. So I think this would be more beneficial towards his line of work as opposed to my property management company.
Yeah. Yes. Now, the only piece to that is you would have to be 51%, have 51% ownership of that business.
Even if he's a minority?
Yes.
So it just has to be for the women? Okay. I mean, obviously that's a simple operating thing there, but take it from 50 to 51, right?
Yeah.
Oh, so it's women and minority,
Yes.
not either or. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was thinking it was either women or, just minorities. So men could be a part of the minority in that. Okay.
Yeah.
Have you
Not
heard of
as
the other, there's two. There's the women business enterprise and then small business admin, women owned. They all have their little, do you know what I'm referring to? There's like multiple certifications that you can get, like different.
I have seen that. Yeah.
Did you choose the one you chose for a reason, or?
I chose the one, what is commonly known as WIMBY. I chose that one because that's what Sound Transit is requiring.
Okay.
And that's where you get a lot more of the state contracts through the WIMBY.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know
But-
Public Works, they throw that out there quite often. So.
Yeah. 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 And my husband, when he had his business like 30 years ago, he made his now ex-wife the owner, 51% owner. And basically they just went down to the state capitol and like, here's our business license, and they got the certification. So it's definitely changed over the last several years and become a little bit more complicated. So yeah. So that was my experience.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, super
Pretty
helpful.
sure.
I really enjoyed digging into that. I've heard about it sort of on the surface, but never taken it to the next level of really investigating whether it made sense for me even, and if so, what it might look like to become certified. So I appreciate you sharing your experiences with all of us today.
Yeah, and I'm happy to share. I'm not a huge wealth of information, but I think every state has one as well. So, but might at least be worth checking into, Charity, from where you're at in your location.
Yeah.
I just speak to Washington, so.
Yeah, no, that's really great. Something just for all of us to be able to share with fellow entrepreneurs too, who might mention that they're looking to get these kinds of contracts. Well, there you need a leg up, and that's one way to get it. So thank you so much. Super informative. I'm sure you're available if people have follow-up questions as well.
Always.
Is that right?
Yeah, always. I'll put my contact information in the chat as well. But yeah, I'm always.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, and I was joking with the gal who has the contract with Sound Transit. So like I said, I'm a subcontractor on her contract, and we're working on another proposal right now for another agency. But, we got awarded this contract back in July and nothing has happened yet. And she lives in Spokane. And so we were joking. I said, Sound Transit's like $30 billion in debt right now. So I'm not super hopeful that anything's ever going to come of this. But anyway, we'll see. It's a really lucrative contract. So it'd be nice if we did.
What is your business?
My business? What I do is well known in really large, like Microsoft size businesses. It's organizational development. And we basically help the organization develop and hone people-centered strategies. So I do a lot of work with leadership development, leadership consultation. Employee engagement is an area I specialize in, as well as organizational learning. So understanding how organizations learn. I do a lot of instructional design. I mostly have toolkits and resources. I don't fancy myself a coach or a consultant, but I have like licensing agreements that I have with other coaches and consultants to use my products. So I write, I'm a really prolific writer, and I research as well. So
nice. Okay, I was just curious.
Yeah.
So it's Cece again, sorry.
Hi, Cece.
So just note with this also is the government and the cities are supposed to give a certain percentage to veterans, minorities, or women businesses. So with that, if you put in a contract, and even if you're not the lowest, you could be like the second, the third one, they have to give a certain amount to those different classifications. And so you benefit from that, having this also, because of the fact that it is required that, let's say they give 20% to veterans, minorities, or women-owned businesses. So it plays a lot into being able to get a lot more contracts if you are doing the things that those cities need. And again, a lot of it is consulting or IT or construction stuff, but they do have a lot of little niches in there. And another good place to go is Sam's, because they also work contracts through there the same way, which is a government site. So it's the US government also.
Ah, I'll look into that one. Thank you. Yeah, I knew that they had a certain percentage of contracts that they have to give to those. In fact, when my husband had his business 30 years ago, his business, so he had a drywall business and sheetrocking, and his business did every government building that was built in the early 80s down in Olympia. So it can be really lucrative if you've got the right contract. But the frustrating part of that, what Cece was saying, is that they have to give a certain percentage. I just lost a proposal to a veteran-owned business because they got that extra 50 points. But if you, like I said, I could have the best proposal out there. Somebody else can have a subpar proposal, but because they've come in slightly under budget or have that certification, the business will go to them. So, but definite advantages. So anyway.